Right now, I'm interviewing by way of telephone founder and CEO of Authentic Haven brand, Annie Haven. Annie, thank you so much for being on our show with us today.
Well, thank you very much for sharing what I have with the world out there.
It's my pleasure, totally. And Authentic Haven brand is definitely not a typical company. I think that whenever someone hears about your business model, they stop what they're doing and they want to hear more. So, Annie, you own a very large farm in Southern California, but your farm is not known for producing traditional crops. You're in the business of selling horse and cow manure over the internet. And there are a few good reasons why your manure is becoming a hot selling item. Can you tell us the primary reason?
Well, one of the big reasons people are searching for more natural products out there, and it's fortunate that my family, who were large commercial growers, we grew tomato seed and we grew seed for the seed houses that sell seed.
Okay.
And we would fertilize the fields by brewing the manure from the livestock that were used to pull the equipment that you needed to harvest the seed.
Okay. So your current business evolved from old school farming from the days when your family was in the seed producing industry. If my memory serves me correctly, your family's seed business was the largest in the nation.
Yes, Haven Seed Company, which was started in 1853, was the largest producer of commercial seed in the world. Tomatoes being the primary crop, but they did grow many varieties of seed for the seed houses.
Okay. So I had the opportunity to speak with you previously for just a short while, and you stated that you made the business jump from selling seed to selling cow manure because of a big problem in California, which is?
The lack of water. And in 68, there were a couple of issues, but the primary issue was the lack of water. So the focus of the farming and ranching operation went from the seed business to the livestock end of the business. The livestock end of the business was very, very important because the horses were needed to pull the equipment. The cattle were needed to feed the crews. So it was sustainable farming at its utmost best. And the one thing that set us apart was that in the early to middle 40s and through the 50s, when the commercial chemicals became the big push, my father didn't see any need to fix what wasn't broken. So as time moved on, the emphasis then went to the byproduct that our livestock produced and continuing to raise that livestock naturally. No antibiotics, no growth hormones, no pesticides.
I suppose that the biggest strength of your seed operations and current manure production is the fact that your family has never used pesticides. That appeals to people because they know that your manure is a healthy alternative for fertilizing their plants.
Correct. We've always sold our livestock private treaty, always locally. So when the livestock are brought into feedlots, they're fed differently. They're fed grains. The dairies are feeding silage. So there is a difference. Not all manures are equal.
Okay. Well, what you have is an unexpected success, and anyone can visit your website at ahavenbrands.com, and they can see how you creatively label the manure. You call it Authentic Haven Brands Natural Tea, and you instruct people to use it like regular tea bags. Can you tell us more about that?
It's very simple to do. The tea bags I package with the home gardener in mind, whether it be the apartment dweller who has one plant to the larger home gardener. The 3x5, 100% cotton bags. You take the tea bag, you put it in a 1 to 5 gallon container of water, and you steep it just like you would sun tea for yourself. And once it's steeped in 1 to 3 days, you take it and you water your plants like you normally would, and you can use it every time you water. We suggest to use it 4 times throughout the growing season. And what this does is it delivers natural nutrients via live organisms that break up the soil, condition the soil, and allow the plant's root system to absorb the nutrients they need.
So if I'm drinking regular tea, I put the tea bag in water and I wait 5 minutes and I drink the tea. With your kind of tea, people put it in water and they wait for 3 days, 3 to 5 days. Is that right?
Well, depending on the size container, if you're brewing a small batch in a 1 gallon container, you can fill it up and let it steep for several hours. Take the tea bag out and water your plants, and then you can reuse the tea just like you would your own tea bag. So you can get multiple servings out of a tea bag. If you have many plants to water, you can take the tea bag, fill up a 5 gallon bucket, pop it in there, let it steep for 3 days, and then you can take the liquid out. You can either just drench feed your plants. You can pour it into a Hudson type sprayer and use it to spray and feed your container plants. And you can also use it as a foyer spray because it will not burn the foliage.
It's natural, it's useful, and it's got applications for the root system of the plant as well as the leaves. Annie, I'm looking at your online store now, and I wish everyone could see what I'm seeing. I'll just describe some of the products that are listed. Number one, you have cow manure. The description reads, your house plants, container plants, vegetable garden shrubs, and lawns will thrive when you condition the soil with Haven's Natural Brew Tea. So that's the description of cow manure. Then you have horse manure below it. Next, you have the assortment pack, and I'll read its description. Get an assortment of all 3 varieties of tea to ensure that you cover all of your gardening needs. Each pack includes equal amounts of tea. And below that, you have the gift pack. So what I'm seeing is this really ingenious way of marketing something that few would think is marketable, and that's what really surprises me. Anyway, when we spoke before, you mentioned that most of your clients learn about you through the internet, and you said that you're having a lot of success with Twitter. Can you tell us more about that?
I was very fortunate in that my older brother, Paul Haven, of Haven Ad Designs, was very successful in his field of marketing, and I reduced the packaging down to be homeowner consumer friendly. Most of the large growers would brew in 30,000-gallon vats. So
Yeah.
I took that part of the business and made it homeowner friendly. Unfortunately, I lost my brother 3 years ago, and the marketing, it all became mine. And here at the ranch with fuel at $4.80 a gallon, how was I going to run the ranch and also get out and introduce the product as the business was growing? And Twitter became that link.
So what you're telling us is that you have this product that's really in demand because there are gardeners all over the place who know that you take care of production from start to finish. And through your partnership with your brother, you learned some valuable strategies about advertising and marketing. You found that communication on social media sites is really effective, but I'm puzzled about why you focus on Twitter and not Facebook.
I liken Twitter to real time, just like having a conversation with somebody at your local general store. It brought that old way back. I do have Facebook pages, both personally and for Authentic Haven brand. But Twitter, we have there are several different chats. There's garden chat, there's tree chat, there's herb chat. At Steve Go Green, there's wonderful foodie chat that's 2 hours on Monday. I talk to chefs. It's become a very popular thing for restaurants now to start producing their own food, even if it's just the herbs that they're using in cooking. So I have a client and market there. But it's very much the social media share site of all of the different ones. Twitter is the one that I spend the majority of my time on.
That's definitely some helpful information. Anyway, I'm talking to someone who was wildly successful in the industry of seed production and had to make a leap to manure production out of necessity. And with the right tools, your manure business is thriving. So, Annie, there are a lot of young people who are listening now. Can you draw from your life experiences and give some good career advice to them?
Well, be passionate. What your passion is, you've got to follow it. I mean, it's not an easy road to hoe, so to speak, but If you believe in it, work at it. You may need to have a part-time job, but keep going. I've been able to take something that my family gave me and share it with others. Um, it's a big world out there, and I've had people say, well, what makes your product so special? Well, have you ever stood in the shampoo section of a store? You know, just because somebody's done it doesn't mean that you can't do it better.
That's a lesson to be learned. In business, you're always going to have competition, but if you have the right personality and if your product has the right combination of elements, you have a good chance of being on top. Annie, we're wrapping up now, but I want to thank you for spending time with us and depositing what you know into our listeners.